It's no secret that the Calgary Flames don't exactly have the league's best roster, and already some big names are making their standings projections for next season. Now, as you can imagine, the Flames aren't very high on these lists, especially with where Jonathan Huberdeau's contract ranked on the league's most untradeable list. We're going to dive into all of that and more in this video, but first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and the stuff in this video, it is pretty ridiculous. But you know what is actually ridiculously exciting? One thing that Calgary Flames fans are getting super excited about is the plethora of good young defensive prospects the organization is acquiring in order to be more secure in front of Dustin Wolf. If you want to make the right defensive move and make your browsing more secure, then look no further than NordVPN. You can have your very own MacKenzie Weegar stopping all incoming threats with Threat Protection Pro. You'll become safer online with a single click, and anytime you download a file or click a link, NordVPN will check it for malware to ensure your 100% safety. I know I get annoyed by, Oilers fans, but pop-up ads, and I'm afraid of fraud and scams, but with NordVPN, I no longer have to worry about those things. Well, other than Oilers fans, but we can't get rid of them, so to make us feel better, we can get a discount by using code nordvpn.com/flames. We might go through some dark days during the Conroy rebuild, but you won't have to worry about falling victim to the dark web with NordVPN's dark web monitor. No one wants to be the victim of a data leak or credit scam, so please ensure you'll be fully protected by checking out NordVPN and all they have to offer. Use code FLAMES for a discount. Oh man, I just love NordVPN. Love those guys. Seriously, you should check them out. But let's hop into the real content of this video and talk about the standings projection that has recently come out, like I said. And it's interesting. You know, the title of this video saying this is getting ridiculous. If Flames fans haven't accepted that look, we probably won't be great for the next couple of seasons. Here it is. We are going to be ridiculously poor in many, many ways. And let's hop right in here. That's the real one we wanted right there. So this is from Puck Empire, huge account on Instagram, of course. I think they're at about 160K followers now. Congratulations to them. But here we go. They're doing their countdown of their kind of 2025 season projections, we can call them. And they start at the bottom and make their way to the top. And already at the beginning of August, Calgary has been dropped as the number 30 team. Now, if this was 10 years ago, number 30 would have meant we were worst in the league, and that's where a lot of us want us to be for the best chance at that first overall pick that we have never had in the history of the franchise. But here you go. We are projected to finish 7th in the Pacific Division here. Only San Jose worse, and San Jose, as you can imagine, we're number 32. I believe only 3 teams have been revealed so far. Maybe they're at 4 now, but I think San Jose 32nd, Chicago 31st, Calgary at 30th here, and I believe Anaheim was next. So the Western Conference, especially the Pacific Division, is really showing out and are going to be so good next season. But here you go. I like the line projections here too. This is actually some very valuable content. Looking at that top line of Huberdeau, now with Backlund and Coleman, of course, since Andrew has left us to go to Washington. Interesting that they put Huberdeau on that line when that line has been known more as a bit of a defensive line, whereas we probably want Huberdeau to start producing more. We'll have a lot more on Huberdeau later in this video. You can probably tell from the thumbnail. And it is interesting here to look at some of those other lines, seeing who does make the team. So Sharangovich with Kuzmenko, I love that. And having Zary there as well is really good. Pospisil with Kadri, it seems like they play best together. And hopefully Coronado can be sparked by Kadri, as Kadri did that with so many players last season. I would like to see Zary with Kadri if possible. And maybe even Zary at center, but we'll have to see. This was just a quick projection, obviously, by Puck Empire. And then that last line, having the newly acquired Lomberg and the newly acquired Mantha. Very interesting to see him down there, not playing with a Huberdeau or someone like that with Rooney. Some extras, of course, being Walker Dewar. We got Dryden Hunt as well. And then the defensive extra is Hanley, as here we have Weegs with Miramanov, like they were finishing off last season. I put Weegs in the thummy as well because he's pretty much the only Flame being projected to be drafted in fantasy draft projections this season. As a projection type video, had to throw Weegs on there because he probably is our most valuable player. player when it comes down to it. We've got Ball with Andersson, really like that duo, and then Bean with Pahal, very interesting as well. None of the younger guys are on here. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, of course. And then Wolfie over Vladar for the goaltending. Very, very interesting. Is it a 30th in the league caliber roster? It kind of is. Do I think they might be better? I definitely think they can be, but is that the plan? I don't want to say they should tank, but, winning isn't always everything, I guess is one way we can say it. But let's get the explanation here from Puck Empire themselves. Continuing with our season projections, we've got the Calgary Flames at number 30, missing the playoffs. It's unfortunate, as I really do like Calgary. That's great! But a bad year in the basement is much needed for them to land a game-changing prospect to add to their pool for the future. That is the 100% truth right there. We barely even need to continue because that is everything that matters. That's what every Flames mindset should kind of be going forward. Calgary just looks pretty bad. They sold off a ton of their pieces over the last year, and it's finally catching up to them lineup-wise. Unless Jonathan Huberdeau finds a way to channel any sort of throwback to his Florida days, the Flames lack a star on the forward core. 100% true once again, nailing this caption so far. A lot of their offense will rely on Sharangovich, Kadri, Zary, and Coleman, and while those are all very solid players, none of them should be leading your offense. It just is kind of true, unfortunately. Calgary did add some depth with the signings of Anthony Mantha and Ryan Lomberg, and will get a full season of Matt Coronado, and I expect to see Jacob Pelche up at some point as well. But it just isn't enough. It really isn't enough to be a full-on contender and maybe even make the playoffs. Calgary's defense is odd, as I actually like the top four. MacKenzie Weegar continues to be criminally underrated amongst the NHL, 1,000,000%. Rasmus Andersson is a very solid top four defender, and I think Kevin Ball and Daniil Miramanov, while likely better suited in bottom pair roles, possess the potential to be very solid defensemen if given the right opportunity. That third pairing of Jake Bean and Braden Pahal will be very rough, though, and you can imagine their plus minus probably won't be the best this upcoming year. Dustin Wolf is a complete wild card. He dominated the AHL and hasn't been given the opportunity to shine when given NHL minutes, and I'm not sure that'll change behind this roster. He'll be a late bloomer to adjust to the NHL, and he doesn't exactly have an experienced veteran to teach him, with all due respect to Dan Vladar. Buckle up for a long season, Flames fans. And it kind of stings to read some of that, but it just genuinely is true. We really do need to buckle up for probably a long season, probably a long few seasons here, but maybe it is just what is needed. And honestly, I think everything that was said in this caption is quite accurate. That is a great job done. Oh, this is happening again. Great job done by Puck Empire. No idea why my hotkeys don't work. I apologize for that once again. Let's get into the second part of this video and talk about, oh no, Huberdeau. Some of you may know what was on the thumbnail for this video, but if you don't, it's a little bit silly, I gotta be honest. But look at this photo right here. We got Jonathan Huberdeau holding up that number one. He's got a trophy. What could he possibly be celebrating as the number one guy? And I do apologize. I don't know who the person in the photo is beside him. I'd assume it's one of his, hometown buddies or something like that. But either way, put in your guesses now. What is this for? Is it him celebrating something? Well, it's actually Huberdeau's summer team, Sea of Red, great name, won the league championship. So he won his summer beer league championship, I suppose. And that is just fantastic for him. But it is a bit of an oh no, a bit of an uh-oh, like it says in the thumbnail. I'll keep bringing up the thumbnail. I just liked it today for some reason. But either way, it's great that he's still playing hockey, and it's kind of funny if he hadn't won his Summer League's Beer League championship, because he's supposed to be this all-time NHLer. But either way, I thought this was funny, but it kind of goes hand in hand of why it's a little bit ironic with this. So if you look at the NHL's 5 most untradeable contracts, this came from Adam Proteau yesterday. He said many NHL deals work out nicely for both sides with a fair trade of funds and on-ice performance. However, even seemingly lucrative NHL deals can turn into nightmares when a player underperforms, and 5 specific players in today's NHL possess some of the most untradeable contracts on the market. Everyone knows where I'm going with this, but the top man on that list was Jonathan Huberdeau, the left winger from the Calgary Flames. So here we go. Like every player on this list, Huberdeau isn't a bad player. No, he's not. He's great, and we still have loads of optimism, and we hope he can turn into the player we know he can be. But it's the combination of his $10.5 million annual salary and the 7 years he has remaining on the contract that makes Huberdeau unmovable. The Flames would have to retain so much if they were ever somehow able to move him
if they want to move him. We'll have to see. He can't be bought out unless Calgary wants to be paying him for the next 14 years. No, we're not doing a Rick DiPietro. And unless the Flames are willing to retain a large portion of his salary, there won't be teams fighting to acquire his services. There's another little paragraph after this that kind of just goes into more detail saying just how poor his stats have been on Calgary. And we all know this. And it just does kind of suck. I understand why people project us to be so low in the standings. A lot of Flames fans do want us to be super low in the standings, and Huberdeau's contract and his play just goes hand in hand with that as it stands of right now. Of course, we have loads of optimism that he can be a great player once again, but as of right now, this is just the reality of the situation. It's a little bit ridiculous, but that's just the way it goes. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do, and this one has to do with yesterday's video. Kind of, I guess, similar sort of vibe to this one. It goes really well with this video, but it's from Pinball, a great Flames fan, so active all over so many social media and all over the internet and Flames forums. But here we go. He said, I hope so bad that the Flames are one of the worst teams in the NHL. Last time a rebuilding Flames team made the playoffs, which of course was 2015, Tree Living traded away a first and 2 seconds for Dougie Hamilton. Sure, Boston made horrible picks, but the Flames were still in rebuild mode because the Flames to be caused the Flames to be mediocre for a decade. And it really, really did set us back. I know that 2015 season was so special. We were the comeback kids. We had such a young team, made the second round, even beating Vancouver in the first round, and it was great. It was a little bit too much success too early, and then we tried to just keep it up, and it really set the Flames back. I know the Flames did have some good seasons over the next decade. 2019 you can think of, when we finished top of the West. 2022, of course, when they were top of the Pacific and lost to Edmonton. But either way, it is very interesting. It would probably be better to just suck for a while so that they can really do the rebuild properly. I know some people still aren't accepting the rebuild. That's okay. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but it might just be the best thing to do for the future of this franchise. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.